11.4, less than 11.4 is adding and subtracting rational expressions with and without common denominators. So this is going to get a little bit weird for us, but it should work out okay. Again, with common denominators, first of all. If you recall, when we had back in the day, when we were adding and subtracting fractions, and we had 3/8 plus 4/8, we would add or subtract the top stuff and leave the bottom. We had to have the bottom the same, so we would get something eighths. 3 plus 4 would be 7/8. Again, all review stuff right there. Now, here we go. We're going to throw variables and stuff in here. So now we have x over 8 plus x over 8. Again, common denominator is 8. What is x plus x? And you should be saying 2x. Okay? Now, always when you're doing this, just like up here when we had just regular old fractions, we always want to look to see if there's anything we can simplify. And here we can get rid of the 2 and the 8 and make it 1 and 4 and have it 1x over 4, or simply x over 4 means the same thing. So again, always take a look at the end to make sure there's nothing that you can simplify. Okay, what if we do x over 8 plus x over 8? I'm sorry, 8 over x plus 8 over x. Okay, our common denominator is x. What are we doing? 8 plus 8 on top, 16 over x. That is a finished answer. Nothing we can do further than that. So 16 over x, finished answer. Okay, very similarly, 5 over 2m plus 4 over 2m. Common denominator, 2m. Stays 2m. 5 plus 4, 9 over 2m. Nothing to simplify in those last two. All right, here we go. Here's a subtraction one. So we have 1 over 2 minus b minus 4 over 2 minus b. Our common denominator is 2 minus b. It's the same on both of them. So all we're doing here is 1 minus 4 is negative 3 over 2 minus b. Now, I will tell you this, that sometimes when you have a 2 minus b, they like to make that, watch what I can do here. If I leave this negative 3 and make this negative b plus 2. If I factor a negative 1 out of both, so negative 1 times 3, negative 1 times b minus 2, I can cancel this and I have 3 over b minus 2. I will tell you this, if you're doing a problem, you do not have to do that. But remember, if it's a multiple choice problem, there's a very good possibility that answer is going to be 3 over b minus 2. So understand that all three of these mean the same thing. Again, denominators do not change. Always look at the end to see if you can reduce your fraction at all. Just a couple reminders on that stuff. So here we go. Not common denominators. Back in the day, we had this as a fraction problem, and we had 3/4 minus 2/3, and you said, oh, hey, we've got to make a common denominator. And our common denominator, we know because we're so bright that we can figure this out in our heads and say, that common denominator is 12. So I'm going to multiply this side by 4 over 4 and this side by 3 over 3. And again, when we do that, we get 9 over 12 minus 8 over 12, and we get a common denominator. Again, if you do not know what a common denominator is, you can multiply them together. Remember, the only thing we can do to a fraction is multiply by 1. That's why it's 3 over 3 and 4 over 4. Those are 1. We're really not changing the fraction. We're just changing how it looks. And if we go here, again, the 12 stays on the bottom. 9 minus 8 is 1, and we get 1/12. So 3/4 minus 2/3 is 1/12. Okay, here we go. This gets a little weird, so pay attention. 4 over x minus 2 over 3. Okay, now we have a variable in here. Remember, what did I just say? If we don't know what the common denominator is, multiply them together. So I really want this to be 3x on the bottom of both of these. Well, to get 3x here, we got to multiply it by 3 over 3 to get 12 over 3x. To get 3x here, we got to multiply it by x over x to get minus 2x over 3x. So now again, our denominator stays the same, 3x. We have 12 minus 2x over 3x. Now I'm going to look at this and I'm going to say, hey, I could factor a 2 out of here, but that 2 is not going to cancel with the 3x. So we have a finished problem right there. I would accept it if you pulled the 2 out to check it, not a problem if you have that factored out, just leave it factored out. Oh my, here we go. Let's get crazy with one. 6 over 5 8 to the x to the 8th, 5x to the 8th power, plus 4 over 3x to the 6th. Now again, I said it, when in doubt, you can multiply them together. So I'm going to say 15, but watch what happens here. I could multiply x to the 8th and x to the 6th and get x to the 14th. That's acceptable. It's fine. It'll work. Okay, but watch this. I have x to the 8th, I have x to the 6th. If I just multiply on this right side by x squared, I'll get x to the 8th. So here, I really want to multiply by 5x squared. Over here, I just want to multiply by 3. Okay, so let's look what happens. 18 over 15x to the 8th. 20x squared over 15x to the 8th. Now again, if you did this and you made it x to the 14th, you're just going to have to cancel more stuff when we get to the end. Let's just see what we get here. 18 plus 20x squared over 15x to the 8th. And we can get a 2 out, but that won't cancel with the 15, so that is finished. Again, if we had x to the 14th, we could cancel some x values there. All right. Here's where it gets a little weird again. 9 over m plus 2 plus 8 over m minus 7. Now, what is the common denominator? I always get people that'll say m minus 5 or something to that effect. No, can't do that. Okay? Our common denominator, again, when in doubt, we multiply them together. So we're going to have to multiply this by m plus 2 over m plus 2. We're going to have to multiply this side by m minus 7 over m minus 7. And my common denominator is m plus 2 times m minus 7. Okay? So that'll be on both of them. Now, on this top left, we're going to have to go 9m minus 63 plus 8m plus 16. And that would be what's on top. So we combine these together. We got 9m plus 8m is 17m. We got negative 63 plus 16 is negative 47. And that is our final answer. Yikes. Kind of scary, but that's how it works out. Let's see what we got. Hey, last problem here in this section. So here we go. 5 over x squared minus 4 over x plus 1. Common denominator, x squared times x plus 1. Okay, that's a no doubter. Okay, over here we're going to multiply by x squared. Over here we're going to multiply by x plus 1. So, actually I'm going to write this out. So 5x plus 5 minus 4x squared over x squared times x plus 1. Note, minus sign in the middle. And again, it gets really weird when you have two things over here. So take this into account. Okay, so I'm gonna write this in standard form. So I'm gonna write the x squared term first, which is negative 4x squared plus 5x plus 5 all over x squared times x plus 1. Again, gets a little bit weird on us there. Let's just take a quick look at this. Can we factor this? Can we find factors of negative 20 that add up to 5? Let's see, 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5, and there's nothing that'll add up. This would have to be negative, negative, negative. This is 1, this is 8, this is 19. So it does not factor. So that is a finished answer. Again, not the easiest problem there, but I wanted to show you one like that to show you that they can get kind of weird on us at times. So here we go. I'll bump this up. Here's our assignment for this section. Again, page 675, again, 9 through 41 here. Again, do a couple of those, make sure that you have a good understanding of what is going on in this section.